while I was in Nigeria, there was a show I really enjoyed watching. It was called Samurai Jack. And Samurai Jack was an amazing show as a teen watching it. I thought the animation was amazing, voice actors, and the fact that they could convey so much action and drama without a lot of dialogue. But Samurai Jack has a gaping plot hole that no one ever seemed to notice. And as a child, I figured this out and I stopped watching Samurai Jack because of this. And the gaping plot hole is basically Samurai Jack, the spoiler alert, the gist of the story is Samurai Jack beats up Aku in the past, and Aku says, well, I can't beat him now, so I'm going to send him to the future where he's not present throughout the present and past, and I'll acquire over 1,000 years of experience and time to prepare to kill this samurai. And to no one's dismay, in the future, Samurai Jack kicks his ass again. But not just his ass, but the minions' asses. So Aku develops this army that is going to wipe out Samurai Jack, but this army basically never beats Samurai Jack. And it's 1,000 years in the future, so you would only hope that this army was better prepared and strategically all around better to take out the samurai, but none of them were. So it leads me to believe that Aku also could not beat his ass 1,000 years in advance. My point is, Samurai Jack is a flawed TV show because he looked to go to the past when he could have just stayed in the future and fixed that because no one was kicking his ass. And that's going to be the topic of today's episode. But replace Aku with people who don't want to wear masks and Samurai Jack with people who didn't want to wear seatbelts. It'll make sense in a few minutes. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Identity Booth. We are on a mission. 200 subscribers. I don't know. I think I'm at 166. So since I last talked about this, I've lost one subscriber. You guys are so petty. Go tell one of your friends, your family members to go like, share, subscribe this episode. Come on now. 200 subscribers. I want a plaque. I got so much cool shit behind me. I deserve to have one of those YouTube plaques. I want one. I've made it my mission. I have made a lot of goals in my life. Publish a comic book, win a Super Bowl, graduate a bunch of degrees. I've done it. I've accomplished it. But now I have a petty, measly request. I want a plaque. But before I get that plaque, I need to get to 200 subscribers. So let's make it happen, guys. Like, share, subscribe. You guys know the whole routine. And today's episode, we are talking about something that is, I didn't think would be a topic. But upon closer inspection, history does repeat itself, and that's scary because that means we have the cheat sheet. If you told me every test I was going to take for the rest of my life, I could literally look at last year's test, I'd feel a lot more confident going into every test. You'd be a fool not to request to have the test present. But that's what we're experiencing. So let's talk about some things. Let's just give a quick update to the situation because I don't know when this usually comes out. I try and make sure my videos come out within 2 weeks of me recording them, but that rarely happens. I think there's a video from 2019. There's a video from 2017 with me and Eric I still haven't posted, but life. Let's talk about the current mask situation, the whole Rona situation. I think I've lost count, but this is week 11 of the supposed lockdown, and this is a continuation because a lot of places have started opening up, but Texas, Louisiana, Florida, southern parts of California, they have not only seen an increase in cases, their cases have spiked to March numbers. The economy is dwindling, but we're not at capacity because no thanks to the government, but the medical establishments are prepared, and I think it's super important that we continue to stay home, guys. Next week is July 4th, and Texas, Florida, and a bunch of other places are closing down bars. You think losing your summer is bad? Wait till you lose the remainder of your 6 months, or 5 months of the year. You think you think it's bad now? Wait till you can't go nowhere because of the Rona and because of the bad weather. First and foremost, let's acknowledge Dr. Fauci and the Trump administration's outright lie. In early March, there was a lie that was told to the American people. This lie was, you don't have to wear a face mask. If you don't want to, it's not required. It's not needed. This was a lie told to the people, and I'll give you the reason why it was told to us, and I'll give you the reason why I'm not angry about it. But this was a lie told to the people by the administration. So for all the people that say like, oh, Trump's administration doesn't lie, yeah, they do lie. And I'm about to tell you about it. That is a lie. Because they've now come out with a correction saying, yes, we do need masks. In fact, they haven't mandated it, but some states have already started doing it. California's already started doing it. Maryland's already started to do it. You need to wear a mask. Like, bump whatever you heard. I'm going to stop cursing as well. I'm going to. Like, not like the hard R's and stuff, but, you know, like the vacuums and the stuff like that. I'm going to cut that stuff out. But you guys need to adhere to what's going on. We do need these masks. And I'll get to why you need these masks. But let me tell you why the administration lied to us. Because we were in a shortage. Imagine you told a bunch of people, hey, all you got to do to prevent this virus from spreading is wash your hands, stay home, and maintain social distancing. That's all you have to do, those three things. Wash your hands, maintain social distancing, and stay home. That's all you got to do, and we could get this under control. Don't believe me? New Zealand is free. Australia is free. Parts of the UK, free. The place where this virus originated, free. America, we are literally slaves to our own, stupidity. That's literally what's going on right now in America. But counter to that idea, instead of us doing those three simple tasks, you know what everyone immediately went out and did? Bought tissue paper. Remember that? That happened this year, where everybody went out and bought all the tissue paper. I want to talk to the people who still have boatloads of tissue paper. I want to examine your life. I want to see some of the tough decisions you've made in your life and what brought you to this point where you're, talking. If you know anyone who has a hoard of toilet paper, don't be afraid. I won't tell them you sent me, but send them to me. I want to ask them some questions. Instead of us staying home, people started going out 4 weeks into the stay-at-home, said, nah, I'm done. I've tried. Started protesting the fact that they had to stay home, that the country was closed. People started protesting. Social distancing, nah, I won't hear of it. Governors refuse to close the beach, and that's how you know you can't trust people, man. That's baffling to me. Like, because we're so free as a country, we don't care about other people, and that's the consequence of one of our freedoms. Like, that's why we need government, preferably one that doesn't lie to us, but it's because people can't be trusted. Social norms aren't enough to keep people socially in order. You need to have a government that can enforce social norms. The new mandate now coming out is that everyone has to wear masks, and people are losing it. People are losing it. Like, here are some clips of people losing it.
I don't give a fuck about Dallas. These dumbass motherfuckers. And dumbass motherfuckers. Put all that shit the fuck back. I don't give a fuck. I got a fucking
Todos aventando. Empieza.
Call the police. Call the.
Here are some clips of people going to a professional setting to talk about this in a democratic setting and losing it.
You literally cannot mandate somebody to wear a mask knowing that that mask is killing people. It literally is killing people. And we the people are waking up, and we know what citizen's arrest is, because citizen's arrests are already happening, okay? And every single one of you that are obeying the devil's laws are going to be arrested. And you, doctor, are going to be arrested for crimes against humanity. Every single one of you have a smirk behind that little mask, but every single one of you are going to get punished by God. You cannot escape God. You cannot escape God. I'm gonna say that again. You cannot escape God, not even with the mask or 6 feet. Okay? 6 feet, like I said before, is military protocol. You're trying to get the people to train them, so when the cameras, the 5G comes out, what? They're gonna scan everybody. We gotta get scanned. We gotta get temperatured. The kids have to go to school with masks. Are you insane? Are you crazy? I think all of you should be in a psych ward right the heck now, because none of you know what the hell you are all talking about. This is insane. And then you want to open this meeting with a prayer to God. Are you praying to the devil? Because God is not listening to that prayer. Because all of you are practicing the devil's laws. What happened to Bill Gates? Why is he not in jail? Why is Hillary Clinton not in jail? Why are all of these pedophiles that are demanding you all to listen to their rules? Why are they not in jail? Oh, is it because you're part of them? Are you part of the deep
Your
state?
time has expired.
The deep state is going down. And
this
if
is your
any of
last
you are
warning.
in the deep state, you're going down with it.
People are losing it. And videos like this are like, whenever someone is talking about facts and they bring up religion, you know this person has no argument. I can't argue with a figment of your imagination. And this is just my opinion. If you believe that there's a guy out there who died and came back, good on you. I think that's great. Don't push that on me. If you think that there's some omnipotent force guiding your decisions, let them be your decisions. Don't push it on us. This will get deeper. The new mandate is now requiring some states, some people in certain states to wear masks. A thin, inconvenient. I literally have a mask here. This is what people are being required to wear. Let's take a good look at this. This is, I can see through this. This is not something that should be, this is not what you should be going to battle for. People are fighting for to stay alive. People are going into this pandemic with knowledge of the pandemic to fight for police reform, to end police brutality, to bring about the arrest of Breonna Taylor's murderers. People are going out but to wear a mask. Look at, people are losing it. And because people didn't want to follow the original rules, we're back at square one. Look at this chart. Remember when the big thing was to flatten the curve? Flatten the curve. It'll be a beautiful, magnificent curve, and we're gonna flatten it out. Yeah, the curve is flat, but it's flat because it took a dip and came right back. And we're heading towards worst case scenarios. This is not ideal. We are back at square one after 11 weeks of, let's be honest, giving it the good old college try. This wasn't a unanimous effort. There was never once a total agreement on what should be going on from state to state to state. You had people, we had a CDC giving out recommendations where you had Republican states, and I have to call them out for what they are. Republican-driven ideology going against that. When we first started this, when New York and California were getting decimated, now look at this chart. 19 states are, 39 of the states or whatever are fine, but these remaining 63, 13 states, it's not coincidence that this is happening to these states. It's not like by some oddball chance that these states are being selected. It's because they didn't do what they had to do in the beginning, and now we're all suffering for it. Because a system is only as weak as its weakest link, and we have a lot of weak links in this country, and we're being exposed. The mask, that mask that I just showed you, is a basic ass mask. You can find it in any hospital, and it's not designed so much to protect you as it is to protect the world from you. Let me say that again. That mask will not prevent you from catching COVID-19. The way COVID spreads is through droplets, and it is also predicted to travel through airborne activity, brash airborne activity. So wherever there's stagnant air, there's probably going to be a brash of, COVID in that air. The droplets probably come from more of a ejection from your bodily fluids when you're like talking. So in essence, this is why you're wearing the mask, to protect people around you from you. That mask is enough to prevent this outward spread of 70% of what comes out of your mouth. So in turn, if two people are in the same room and both of them have masks on, they have limited their opportunity of spreading their disease by 70%. If enough people do this, we can minimize the spread. That is why we're doing it. And that is probably where every single one of our medical experts fucked up. Because whenever you're asking someone to do something for you, if they don't see the immediate benefit, but they have to take an L, as minute as it is, it's going to be resisted. Americans inherently will resist it. I'm free. Why do I have to do anything I don't want to? That is, how many Christians, Muslims, Jewish people, whatever your faith is, Buddhism, Catholic, Protestant, have scriptures in the Bible, do unto others as you want done to yourself. And I can't tell you how ridiculous, the same people talking about using God to argue against wearing a mask. There are literally scriptures in your holy book talking about why you should be doing this, and they're fighting it. They're fighting it with all their strength. Get used to seeing this happen. In China, in Japan, it is common courtesy if you don't feel well and you have to go into the public, you put on a mask as letting people know. The mask alerts people to your presence that I don't feel well, and this is me doing my part to let you know through this mask that I don't feel well, and also trying my best not to spread it. Because you do have to go. Get used to wearing masks. You want to see the NFL, NBA, and all this stuff come back? Get used to wearing masks. Oh, the lockdown is horrible for small businesses. You want to know what else is bad for small businesses? Karen walking into the store without a mask and having a total fit for being asked politely by a bunch of people wearing Hawaiian shirts to put on a mask. She lost it. And notice that it wasn't like a medical thing. It wasn't. She went straight political. These Democrats, people have lost their shit. People can't take it. To be attacked in this country now draws a similarity or draw lines on political beliefs. I had a disagreement with a guy who put up this post. If I can find it, I'll put it in here. And I was like, this is not a true article. This is not a real tweet. Here's an article proving it. And he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle his ideas being challenged. So instead of him, reading the article, acknowledging that, hey, you're right, someone did spoof this tweet, I was wrong, he says, I have my own beliefs and I don't believe on the left or the right. As if to imply that that matters somehow. Facts don't care about your feelings, bro. And there's too many people out in this world who really depend on this echo chamber of information to satisfy their conscience. And you can't blame them because they're scared and they're being led by an idiot. And idiots are very easy to tame with fear. Inherently. Donald Trump re-election will not faze me in any sort of way. It will affect the people that I love, but it won't affect me personally, financially, unequivocally. Like, it just won't. It'll give me a year's worth of content, but that is the weird belief that for some reason that because you believe in a certain party or aspect of life that you're inherently better off because of it. You can be a Republican and not racist, but if you're a Republican, you have to acknowledge the racist in your party. Period. Oh, what about Joe Biden? He said, black people, you're not black if you vote for Republican. Yeah, he said that. And guess what? He also apologized. We still can't get Donald Trump to apologize for the Central Park 5. He took out a whole front page ad about getting those kids the death penalty when he was proven wrong. Hasn't said a word, but he'll say he's done more for black people than any other president, even Lincoln. Me being a Democrat is about me being able to bully my people. You can't bully Republicans, and that's what makes them tough to beat. Because when they're wrong, they don't care. They'll force you to adhere to it. I'm wrong and you have to deal with it. That is not how we should be doing things. But that's how people like to do it. It won't last. He'll be voted out in November. N95 masks are pretty good at what they do. And given that we can't get everyone an N95 mask, I don't foresee this being an issue. But if everyone could get an N95 mask, that'd be ideal. That'd be the best way because it would also protect you as much as it would be protecting others from you. So that would be the goal. They're very uncomfortable to breathe in. If I can find a picture of when I was wearing my mask in surgery, I'll post it up here. But that is the ideal situation. If everyone could be wearing N95 masks when they go out and being required to wash their hands every 5 minutes while they're out, that would be ideal. Yep. That would be ideal. Everyone the government should make it a 24-hour, 7 days a week type cleaning. Weekly cleaning until we neutralize this. That is just what it's going to take. And until we come to the agreement that there is no such thing as cost effectiveness to rid us of this virus. The amount of lives we could save, 120,000 plus people have already died from this. And this was us giving it the college try. The second wave hasn't got here. The second wave gets here in early August. You think this virus sucks now? Wait till you got your kids in your house again. Remember what the end of the year was like? March. People were losing their shit, having to babysit their kids. Wear the mask. Let's debunk some stories. Let's talk about the people who there's this I don't know where he's from. If I find the video, I'll put it in, but this
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Insanity.
This is the guy's picture. His name's Philip something. He made a jovial I can't breathe campaign about wearing a mask without realizing, because white privilege doesn't allow him to understand that that's an offensive term these days, because Eric Gardner, Mr. Floyd, and a host and plethora of other people who have used it. The guy from Dallas have used the same phrase to describe how they were being slaughtered and murdered by an officer. And because, you know, Philip over here is a a white man who's police won't choke me out. He uses it as his catchphrase. I can't breathe. He takes off his mask. He feels better about himself. He is a fucking, well, I said I wasn't going to curse. I'll probably have to bleep that out. He is a loser. This man is an idiot. Let's talk about air. It is something we all breathe in, but it's not something we all understand. Air is comprised of several elements. Yeah. No. Comprised of several molecules, because elements are individuals, molecules are groups, and molecules and compounds. And these are ranged from argon, which is deadly to the body, but you know, no one's talking about that when they breathe. CO2, nitrogen, and oxygen. And let's just talk about nitrogen, CO2, and oxygen. Of the air we breathe, approximately 20% of that air is O2. We have a very special system within our body that gives us the ability to cipher through air to pull out oxygen. This lovely device is called our pulmonary system. Our pulmonary system is a magical device. It has one job and one job only: to help us take in O2 and remove CO2. I guess it has several jobs, 2 jobs. And I think nitrogen is part of that too. But it helps us breathe off CO2 and take in O2. And that is the preliminary basis. That is pretty much all you have to understand about our lungs. And also that there are some things you can do that can hinder your ability to take care of that process. Now, remember these numbers. All you have to remember is 20% of the air we breathe in is oxygen. And how much oxygen from the 20% do you believe our body uses? Come on, take a guess. Come on now, me and you together. Let's take a guess. I'll even give you choices. The whole 20%, A. 15%, B. Let's go easy on it now. 10%, C. Or a measly 5%, D. Come on. Where's the Jeopardy theme song? Pick an answer. No, you idiot, is 5%. No, I'm just playing. It's 5%. Meaning our lungs are also responsible for breathing off that O2 back into the world. We only need 5% of the oxygen we breathe in. And that should be alarming to the alarmists who are saying, I can't breathe with my mask on. Because you can. Without a doubt, especially if you're wearing that mask, you definitely can. But people can't help themselves, and they'll lie to prove a point. That shouldn't be a surprise. Saying that you can't breathe oxygen because you're wearing a mask is not a factual statement. Shut up. The mask will hinder my sickness. All right. And furthermore, I don't have to tell you what my sickness is because of HIPAA. Let's talk about HIPAA. HIPAA only applies to hospital staff. And it doesn't even apply to all of the hospital staff. It only applies to the nurse, the direct primary nurse, and the direct primary physician, and all consulting physicians. So anyone who has a direct consult from that physician or that nurse is liable. So let's talk about people who won't affect. Scrub techs, ultrasound techs, respiratory therapists, anesthesia technicians. Like, there's a list of people that HIPAA doesn't really affect, but it gives a broad blanket statement, and you're required to do it in some hospitals, but it doesn't really affect everybody. And furthermore, HIPAA doesn't prevent you as a person from telling someone what your ailment is. That's just you being annoying and an asshole. Now, there are certain things that would make wearing a mask difficult for someone like you to do in the public scene. For example, having COPD. That would make wearing a mask would be very difficult. But guess what? If you have COPD, You know what else you're probably going to be carrying around with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? An oxygen tank. Because you have burrow chest. The elasticity in your lungs has left you, so you can't compress. Your diaphragm isn't helping you assist in your breathing. And basically, if you've never touched a pair of lungs, they feel like cotton candy, but without the stick. And when they're wet, they blossom. They sort of like become way more fluffy. But dry lungs are crunchy lungs. You don't like that in a sense of breathing, at least. But if you are a person saying, oh, I can't wear a mask because I have an ailment, you probably don't want to be outside it during a pandemic. Have you ever thought about using, mail-in order services? They have Omaha Steaks, Google Pantry, Walmart does it now. Why are you risking going into Kroger's and Trader Joe's for 15 minutes when you could have everything mailed to you and ordered to you? And if you tell them that you have an ailment, they'll even take off the delivery fee. Because it's not about your sickness, your fake sickness that you just came up with in order to try and bulldoze your way into it. It's because you're selfish. I would much prefer if people just said, I don't want to wear the mask because I don't want to. That would at least stop me from spending time debunking all this bullshit. But they can't help themselves. They really can't help themselves. The CO2 headache, which is a real thing. It happens when it's a real thing in the sense that when people are hyperventilating, they've been breathing off too much O2. You know, the brown paper bag, you see it on TV shows in those fake emergency, and they breathe in the CO2 to help, help with the equilibrium of their respiratory system. It's a real thing. But the side effect of hyperventilation is hypoventilation, which is when you need more oxygen because your CO2 is too high, which pushes your pH down, makes you more acidic. It is true, it is possible, and it's a danger, but it usually comes with extreme situations. If you're wearing that paper thin mask, you're not going to experience it with that. And if you do experience with that, you have way bigger issues that once again beg the question, why are you outside? You have a serious respiratory issue. Maybe you need to see a doctor. N95 mask for sure. As a person who had to wear one for 7 hours the other day while I was doing surgery, yeah, it sucks. But you do have a luxury. As a person on the outside, one, you probably don't have to wear it for 7 hours, and two, you can stop to catch your breath. I can't stop in the middle of a surgery to catch my breath. I can regulate my breath. I can take a step back and arch my head back up to help with that motion, but I do not get to take that mask off. You get to briefly take a deep breath and recalibrate yourself. 3 to 5 minutes, I'll give you that, before you truck on down and continue your process. But this selfish notion that, oh, this is too hard. You want to know what's too hard? Having a 7 ET tube shoved down your throat all the way down to your lungs, where we meet right above your carina, and pulled back about 3 to 5 centimeters, above the crown, so we can get equal distribution of air through both lungs. That's an inconvenience. Having to be awake and write on a board what you need to know because you're intubated and you can't talk. That's annoying. Wanna know what's even worse than that? Watching me take that tube out of your mouth and roll that machine out of your room because you are no longer being cared for, because you can no longer be taken care of on the vent. You're more than 80% dependent on the vent. You're in life support status. We're going to send you to hospice. They're way more equipped for the dead. The CO2 headache is relevant, but it's not relevant to people who are working outside in open air. It's not an excuse. Put on the mask. Trump said he'll go away in a little bit. Trump also said he's the least racist person in America, and he literally retweeted a person saying white power and said thanks. Trump is an idiot. He said take hydroxychloroquine, and people in Arizona, a couple in Arizona, went out and found the sulfur version of it, drank it, and they both are dead. In Brazil, Bolsonaro, or whatever the name of the president is, he's a Trump type person. They are losing their shit right now. They are experiencing the highest numbers of deaths, and he is still pushing the chloroquine on his people. Trump is an idiot. You can support his racist agenda. You can support his racist policies, but you cannot sit here and tell me that this man is not an idiot or he's not a racist. For you to explain that to me is for you to take a step into acknowledging your own stupidity or your own racism. He's not a racist. You immediately, once saying that, you have to acknowledge the fact that maybe you're a little racist. It's inherent. It's okay. I mean, you can't be racist if you're black, but for the rest of y'all, ask yourself, you gonna take advice from someone like that? How many bankruptcies has he had? I'm better with money than Trump is. I've never been in bankruptcy. He bankrupt 12 times. He's about to bankrupt the country. You can't take medical advice from an idiot, especially him. Don't listen to Trump. Listen to scientists. Listen to doctors. And above all else, call your own doctor. People over here arguing about the masks refuse to call their doctors. Just call your doctor. The one you go to see to get your medication, to go see your child. Oh, wait, you don't probably have health care. But you love you some Trump, huh? No health care. No opinionated facts. Crazy. But yeah. This was just me going down a list of things that I've seen about the mask. This is me debunking some things. This is me talking about some things. But for what it's worth, this is a podcast. This is Hero. I greatly appreciate y'all being here. Let's break 200. Let's break 200. Let's get to 200 subscribers. Like, share. Send this to your people. Send this to your people out here who not obeying the mask rules. These simple mask rules could set us free, and nobody seems to be interested in following them. So, for what it's worth, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Put on the mask. Take care of yourself. Be good to one another, please. And I'll talk to you guys in the future.